If you saw a younger version of yourself walking across the street, would you talk to him, and what would you say if you did?
Well, considering I'm 20, a younger version of myself would be in high school or in primary school. I guess, I mean, I would probably just say, like, I don't know, what would I say? That's a hard question.
Yeah, I was thinking this when he asked the question, because he's a bit older. So, like, a younger him would be... So I'm 24, so I'm a little bit older than you, but not much.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same kind of age bracket, I guess. So I was thinking, like, I don't know what that question's going to... how that'll work out, but... You know?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is, I'd probably just say, just keep at it. Like, that's the only thing I would say. Like, because so far, I mean, whatever I've been doing has been working for me. So I would honestly just encourage my younger self just to do the same thing that I'm doing, and it'll work out, I guess.
Yeah. It's he says something about out drinking his younger self, but I guess like him out drinking, I think he's 40. So him out drinking his younger self is a bit different to like me or you out drinking our younger selves. So like, yeah. So I suppose you can get in trouble for approaching younger you. Everyone will be like,
yeah,
like,
yeah, that would not work.
Yeah,
I would be too young.
I was like, you could take the Back to the Future route. You know, you could be like, well, maybe I shouldn't, because what if it affects me? Are we talking like younger me as in the same?
Yeah, true.
Younger, or is it like parallel universe? Yeah, where you know.
That's true, man.
So I don't know whether you got to consider that kind of option. If it were, that's an interesting one. If it were the same you, so you know it will change the course of your life if you say something to younger you.
Yeah.
Would you then say something?
No. Nah. I like where I am, man. I like where I'm at. I don't wanna hinder that by telling my younger self something stupid.
You would even give him like a bet to gamble on that you know he'll win.
Oh, that's true. Actually, that's kind of sick.
But then that might change your life as well. You might be a gambling addict after that, and then
then
you're stuck. What was I going to say? I can't remember. Yeah, I was going to say, like, what if you're just walking along and just the tiniest little thing you do by accident, you just slip over, and then somehow that just causes some reaction in other you's brain. Like, it's a whole rabbit hole. But yeah, and I've said this before, but I always struggle to actually go on to any proper questions after this once I've asked some like that.
So the only question is the one that you didn't write. Huh? It's someone else's question.
Yeah, I didn't write that question. Yeah. They always make me laugh though. Like, there's been quite a few funny ones and stuff. So I'm just kind of I just have to wing it and try. There's no way of bridging the gap between that and anything. Like with your kind of with the kind of music you do, there was something that I kind of found interesting is that obviously doing keys in this kind of genre that you're sort of working in, it's obviously the in terms of particularly like the more metal kind of side of progressive kind of music, it's generally, you know, people tend to gravitate towards guitar, bass, drums, sometimes vocals as well. But instrumentally, that's what people gravitate towards. I guess my question is kind of like it's almost like a chicken and the egg scenario. What came first, like keys or prog music, or like did one feed into the other? How did you kind of end up in that world?
Well, yeah, it started with keys. Like, I was just into more like mainstream stuff, more like less proggy things, and I was just playing like guitar songs on keyboard, which might be why my lead playing sounds a bit like a guitarist. So that's how I started off, just playing like Iron Maiden and like slightly more less proggy things, and just kind of slowly got into it, you know, more and more technical stuff led to more and more proggy things, I guess, because I always loved metal, so it was just natural for me to get into the more technical side of it eventually.
Yeah, it's I always liken it to are you a coffee drinker?
I'm actually not at all. Like, yeah.
You might not. Well, you have an
just...
allergy probably, but you go from like when you start drinking coffee, you might be drinking like 3 sugars and like or some like iced latte or something like and then and then you try a slightly stronger coffee and you're like, oh, that's kind of better, and then you don't drink the old one because you just think it's rubbish, and then you have like a stronger coffee and eventually you end up. I'm not quite at like espresso level, but I've done that with like prog and heavy music to an extent. I feel like you start off, you get a taste of like, I don't know, what would be. What do you think was like your introduction to like more progressive music?
Definitely Dream Theater.
That's quite that's an espresso of an introduction. That is. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got into it with like with the lighter stuff, like Another Day, like the softer things. So it wasn't like the hectic Dream Theater. It was like the more chill stuff.
Yeah. Do you the thing for me with Dream Theater is I feel like I can kind of, there are some proggy things I can like. I lean in a less sort of progressive way in terms of music. I like progressive music and I like writing it, but I like to be able to settle into something, so if something's in 7, that's cool, but I want to sit with it for a minute so I can like just kind of bob my head even if it's not in time. With Dream Theater obviously it's kind of jumping all over the place in some songs anyway. What do you think the appeal of that kind of hecticness is?
Well, I think I would say it's only appealing from a technical standpoint, really. I mean, you'd kind of listen to it to, enhance your knowledge of the thing, and it's a good balance as well. Like, it's good to have those kind of things, but also have catchy lines, and a lot of bands do that, where they have really good hooks, and they also get into that more hectic, like time signature changes every couple of bars or every bar. So I think like as a balance, it sounds cool, like it's appealing like as a whole, but just those kind of hectic passages by itself is kind of just, they're doing it just for the sake of it, really.
I find I don't know if you're the same here, but like I have to sometimes, I find that my brain gets into a sort of optimal like flow state when I'm playing stuff that I find difficult, like riffs and things. But obviously not everyone wants to listen to your most difficult riff, and I don't even want to listen to my most difficult riff. I want to listen to the one that's the best one, which is probably not the most difficult one. So like, do you think there's anything about your sort of personality that leans you towards more challenging kind of ideas?
Well, I think it's like I personally think that I still haven't found my like style that I really want to like kind of build upon as much. Like I'm working on my second like full length album now, so, and I don't know exactly how I want to like represent myself, I guess, because I really love like simpler riffs because I think they sound amazing, like just really hard hitting, impactful things. But I also like the hectic style. So I think my personality, I think I just like a bit of both, to be fair. But with the hectic vibe, I guess it's just fun. It's just fun, and it's just like I can express myself in a more, I guess, challenging, like experimental, that kind of way. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's that kind of like, there is something about kind of expressing yourself, but like through that kind of challenge of writing the more difficult music. I kind of, like I said, I try and find, I think it's such a difficult balance to find. I hate to be critical of certain, like not anyone in particular, but like a lot of modern musicians, is particularly in like the prog and metal world, is I don't know, I feel like that balance has tipped a little bit towards technicality and away from, I don't say musicality, that sounds quite insulting, like it's not. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a bit of a balance to be found. It depends what your goals are, obviously. But to my ear, like I said, I guess this is maybe because I'm not such a fan of like, say, Dream Theater or someone, or I do like them, but they're not my go-to. So maybe that's just I've got a bit of a bias to the more earwormy kind of stuff. What do you think about that kind of balance? Do you feel like where do you think it is on the whole in terms of, are people getting a good balance between technicality and sort of hooks and just general like appeal?
Yeah, I mean, like I guess all the music, right? Like Dream Theater, Haken, and Periphery, and like those are bands that I really like. Like they have something to them, which was what draws me to it, and that is to some extent like that good balance, you know, that it's not just too crazy all the time. You know, of course, it does challenge you sometimes. Like sometimes, you know, you struggle to bob your head to it. But I think it's like I think people are like doing a pretty good job at that balance of really catchy things and making like, you know, cool stuff. Yeah, like technically, yeah.
Technically wise.
I think that's technically wise.
Yeah. No,
yeah. I think.
Go on.
Sorry.
No, you go on. This is the time, not the time difference, the internet connection across the world.
On the other side.
With I was chatting to Justin Derrico last night, he's in LA. He's a guitarist for Pink, and he does like The Voice, and he's done a lot of other stuff as well. And you know, he's like 8 hours the other way, and you're like 10 hours behind me. There's like 18 hours. Well, it's not.
Wait, behind you? Surely I'm ahead of you, right?
No, he's behind. Yeah.
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 Okay, and then I'm ahead of you.
Yeah. So it's like early. Well, it's like late morning for me.
Yeah.
But I find it amazing that I can just. I don't know. I feel like sometimes we just forget. Like I'm chatting to you, and you're literally the other side of the world, and you're getting.
Yeah, man.
And here I am complaining that you're literally a split second time difference. Like.
It's nighttime for me.
Yeah.
It's nighttime for me. It's 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's a weird, and actually this kind of does go quite neatly onto talking about sort of like collaboration and sort of the internet being, because obviously, you know, that you've sort of been able to harness to some degree the kind of the whole social media thing to your benefit. I can tell from, because I see your face pop up all over on all these sort of like your profile, but on a lot of like the software companies and stuff, and I just see people sharing it, you know. That kind of community, what's your kind of I guess I was going to say what's your kind of view on that sort of whole community, but I guess there's nothing too bad to say.
This really isn't.
Yeah. How have you found kind of like, digging into the online sort of metal community?
Yeah, I think it's great. Like, I think for the most part, people are super encouraging, and like you said, like they're sharing your stuff and things like that. I think it's really good to like have those companies like see that you're using their software and then share you, and like, you know, for more people to get on board with what you're doing, things like that. So I really like it. I think it's been the biggest motivator to me, to be honest. Like just hearing you know, positive things from people like that I admire, and just like fans as well, that, you know, that it's just like a big motivator for me personally.
Yeah, like I mean, there's it's weird how you can just, you know, post something online and have fans kind of almost just appear, you know. Like, I mean, this podcast is only kind of in its infancy, really, but like, it's funny, some people just pop up and make a nice comment. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were, or they'll kind of allude to an old episode or something. I'm like, I didn't know you've been watching since that one, you know, like, you kind of,
for sure,
can almost lose track. But when was can you pinpoint the moment where you went from like a small following to like a slightly more substantial one? Did it kind of blow up a bit for you, or was it just like and is it still kind of just like a gradual thing?
Well, I think the turning point was actually me getting a good camera, because I've been using like my really crappy Chinese phone to film my videos for like 3 years, and I only had like, I mean, not only, but I only had like a few hundred followers for that entirety, like for a few years. And then as soon as I like got a good camera, started, getting some nice shots in, and upped my video quality quite a bit, then I think that was the turning point, like around end of 2020, around then. That was like, because then those software companies that you mentioned, or other brands and things, and they notice that you're making really high quality content, and then they want to share you. So it's kind of like a snowball effect. You do one thing right, and then people see that, and then they start to share your stuff more and more because it looks good. And then it just goes from there, I guess. So I guess end of 2020 was like when it really kicked off.
Yeah, that's it's I always wonder like how many musicians are kind of lost to just like, you know, they don't have the camera or the sort of the know-how to kind of put together a good sounding like piece of music, although they can write incredible music, or they can play with incredible skill and sort of a unique voice. I wonder how many just get lost in this kind of demand. There's this demand for perfection to a degree. I think people do like camera audio stuff. You know, people like the reality. But it depends what you're going for. Like, I think what you do serves you quite well. I don't know, like you were saying, when you're doing it just on the camera phone, it's not that it doesn't have the appeal, it's that it doesn't deliver. It sort of doesn't deliver the full message of what you're. Because you're doing quite well produced kind of stuff. Whereas if you're going for a raw kind of thing, then, you know, obviously the camera look kind of fits it a bit better. But
absolutely.
Do you feel like you ever get stuck in that perfectionism kind of rut, particularly with all the kind of online pressures?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like that's one of the biggest like downfalls of it. Like, you know, you mentioned the positive things about like the metal community and just like posting and things like that. And sure, like it's really good. It's very motivating and things like that. But also if you don't post a video in a little while, then you start to feel kind of guilty almost. Like if I don't post a video in like a couple of weeks, then I'm like, damn, I really need to post a video. Like, you know, like maybe it is for validation or something. I don't know. But I think it's also just like I guess a little bit of pressure, and you do have to kind of maintain that like a good output. Otherwise, then you start losing followers as well. Or you know, if your content isn't up to par, then as well, like, you know, you want to keep getting better and keep showing that you're getting better, so that you don't lose followers. And
it's a painful, like I'm kind of just like fighting against the algorithm all the time, and it's so I post little reels from the podcasts, you know, and sometimes every now and again they'll kind of do quite well. I've had a few go up to like sort of 10 or 20,000, you know, but like most of the time they'll get maybe 1 or 2,000 or something. So they don't get like a huge amount, but they, you know, some of them kind of blow up a little bit. But it is such a, like, trying to keep up with it. I never know what Instagram wants to see, and I always wonder like if because there's always that sort of battle with like, do you put out the clickbait stuff or do you put out the, you know, more like honest to you things? And do you ever feel like a pressure to change what you're doing for the sake of meeting sort of expectations online?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Another, for sure. Like whenever I film something, or like, I always have it in mind as like, is this gonna, you know, attract attention? You know, that's definitely one of the things that I have to think about. Like sometimes I want to just like, you know, take a like just a chill kind of post, you know, and just post that. But like I've tried that and it just does not do well compared to like when I shred or something like that, you know, when something just goes right on, you know, because that's another thing, like, you know, people just want to scroll and they want something eye-catching and things like that. So if you come out with a sick like run at the beginning of your video, then that's definitely gonna be way better with the audience and stuff, compared to like if you're just, you know, doing something very chill on a piano. So
I was chatting to Miles Dimitri Baker, and he was saying about how like one of their latest songs, it was like quite a simple riff, like a good riff, but a simple one, you know. But he ended up posting like, I think it was either the solo or like a complicated bit from later on, you know, just because people don't want to see, like, I don't know, it's weird how even a good riff, if it's simple or if it's not like a bit crazy, you can kind of not get people. I feel like there's such a high threshold for getting people's attention. Like I've posted quite a few reels where what the person's saying I think is quite interesting, but it's maybe not like shocking, and or it's not like you don't go like, whoa. You just kind of, you've got to want to listen to it, and it's so difficult to find that. Like the best reel I think that one of the best reels I posted in Best Performing was the first thing was the guy asked the question, is Jimmy Page sloppy? That was the first thing he said. So I can tell what happens is people listen to that and they go, oh, I want to know. Whereas not everyone asks a question like that's not controversial, but like, not every good point that's made by someone in the podcast is like controversial. So I'm always like struggling to find the right stuff. And I noticed because that did well on all of the platforms that I posted it on. It wasn't just like Instagram blew it up and the rest ignored it, so. Do you post on like sort of TikTok or on like YouTube Shorts or any of those kind of more like short film?
Yeah, I've started to post on TikTok actually because I realized that's where a lot of the youngins are going. So I've started to post that. Sorry?
Find younger you on there.
Yeah. But no, I have started posting on that, so I only have like 3 videos up right now. Haven't actually even announced that I'm on TikTok right now. I'm just there. Yeah. I need to make a story or something. But yeah, with TikTok, I just got onto it like not long ago, and the YouTube Shorts as well. I only posted like a couple of things, but I don't know. I haven't hit the algorithm yet compared to Instagram.
I found YouTube Shorts has been it's a tricky one. Like I feel like TikTok is pretty brutal. It will always give me 220 views on a reel. I don't know why. And then occasionally, almost not bang on, but like give or take maybe 10. It will always give me that. But then there's the odd few where it just gives like a few hundred, or then I've had a few go up. There's one that did like 10,000 or so, and there's a few that have done a few thousand. But almost religiously where it does that. Whereas Instagram sometimes can just be like, nah, fuck you, you're getting nothing. And then other times it'll give me... there's more variation in Instagram, but I feel like YouTube Shorts gives you like... consistently gives me a decent amount, and it does reflect it. I feel like they've got it a bit better. I think YouTube's trying to push it a bit more, so maybe they let you go. Yeah. Have you thought about Twitch or anything, or do you do Twitch?
I have done Twitch a few times before. Like I've only done like I think 5 streams in my life.
Oh, nice.
But I got into it in like 2021.
Yeah. And
did a few streams then, but I think I just got busy writing my EP and then didn't do it for a while and haven't gotten back to it yet. So it is something that I really like. I enjoyed doing. I think it was fun. Like, people enjoy just, it's quite good. Like when people just want to just, have a chat and then see what you're doing, and you're just like playing a few songs or working on a new song with the people. So it's kind of cool that way.
Yeah, I just like the idea of being able to... I need to get back into it, but I'm in a bit, like, not a writing rut, but I'm just trying to find my feet again with it, and, like, I don't want to just be sat there, like, umming and ahhing with, like, people watching me just do nothing.
Yeah, maybe, like, start with an idea, and then you can hop on stream, like, guys, I've got this idea. I'm going to build upon it,
Yeah, I think that's what I might start doing. Yeah, it's a good way to look at it, because I don't know yet. But I feel like it's a great platform because you can start to like actually monetize your real time rather than just like, when you make a video and people don't see all the hours that go into actually just making content, not the music. Do you enjoy the kind of like the hustle of kind of putting all this stuff together and like the social media grind and all that? Or do you want to just kind of do the music? Like if you could have a social media manager, would you just... pass it over?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because like, I mean, besides the grind, I think it's just like really addictive. Like, it's just really like after you start to do well on it, then you kind of like the attention, and then you kind of like always answering your like people messaging you or just like seeing the comments or like whatever, you kind of on it more often. So I wish I kind of did more music and less seeing what to do next on social media or just being on social media in the first place. So yeah, I don't really like that aspect, but I like creating videos. Like I love filming and I love like editing the video and color grading it and stuff like that. So I like that aspect, but not the actual like posting and managing the post and doing all that stuff. So
yeah. Have you found any? Are you still finding your feet with like avoiding the addictive nature of it? Because I know I am. Like I know whenever I put a podcast, I'll be checking the stats, to see how it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always check the stats like for days after I post something. Like, yeah. I guess it's also like you kind of learning from it, and you're thinking about what you want to do next. How you can, I guess, attract more of an audience. Because like I think I do kind of consider myself a bit more like of a content creator, because I do post like a fair bit and like post like demos of products and things like that. So it's not only just music that I'm making for an album, but it's also music specifically catered to like showcase a new instrument or showcase a new like any product. So yeah, I think I am struggling with the addictive side of it for sure, because I do like to look at the stats and see what I can do next.
Yeah,
so
I find that whole I never know quite where I stand on it. The thing about where companies will hand out copies of their products and stuff. So that you and plenty of other people will sort of promote it online. And I know sometimes they pay for these things, and then let me sort my camera out so it's not blowing my face up. There we go. I know like sometimes they pay for it, but then other times you feel like maybe particularly the smaller content creators, I feel like almost get sort of hooked in a bit where they will advertise, like they'll make a demo of a product, they'll like do all that, it'll like be pro video, they'll label it and everything, and it will have like sequences and it'll be a demo song they wrote, and they've basically made an advert for that piece of software, and they're not getting paid for it or anything, and they're not and they essentially are doing it because they want the share from the company, which again, nothing wrong with that at all. But I never know what sort of morally where I stand on it, because I kind of think like there's a lot of free advertising happening for some of these companies. It's a bit of a catch-22, because like you want the following, so the way to get the following is to get shared by these people. So it's not like they're not doing anything for you. It feels a bit like getting paid in exposure to me.
Yeah, it is definitely. Like that's what I was doing for a while, to be honest. And I was kind of happy to do it as well. Like I think, because I actually really benefit from the products that I do get. So even if it's like unpaid or something, then I mean I genuinely do like the product and I do use it. So I mean, why not? I'll make a demo for you, whatever. So sometimes it's beneficial. Like I think it was good that I did it for a while, just getting the product and just making a video for it. But yeah, it can seem a bit sus though, when you're just like not getting paid. They just give you a product and get a lot of people to make, basically, like you said, ads for it.
Yeah, I never know where I sit, because like especially when they repost it, and they actually use your content, not when they've just shared it to their story, but when they actually repost, or they'll take a video from you and post it. That's when I'm kind of like, so you've made us a video, you've written the song for it, and you've put the whole video together, in terms of like produced it on Premiere Pro or whatever, and we're gonna pay, and we're gonna use that, and then we're gonna pay you by showing people that it was you. That's like making a blockbuster movie and then just saying, well, we'll pay you by putting you in the credits, and it's kind of like,
it's true.
I don't know where I stand on that quite.
I never really thought about it too much, to be honest. But now that you mention it,
it's another one of those like sucky situations where if you say, right, well, you can't post that unless you pay me, you could do it politely, but if you say that, they'll just post something else. It's so it's like it's kind of it's a difficult situation, but I do feel a little bit that maybe some I don't know. I feel like I'm not going to ask you to chip in because I'm just kind of venting a bit because I know that you post with some of these things. So I won't, unless you want to. I won't sort of ask you to chip in on that because I don't want you getting in trouble or not. Yeah, I don't know. That was just my 2 cents on it. I feel like it's a bit of it's a touchy subject, but I don't know. I feel like we're so conscious of musicians getting paid in exposure, as a joke, isn't it? A bit of a meme, really. But then it happens a lot online, like a lot.
Yeah, like I think it's I don't know, it's hard to say. Like I think I've overall benefited from it. Like I think if for me, for example, when I like started making the videos and things, I was like I wasn't sure if I wanted to, for example, go to like a university to do music or if I just wanted to like, just do it. So I just started making videos, and I guess at that point it was just useful for me to just get any exposure. So for me, I think it was kind of useful, just like being able to be out there and get products that I could use for my own music. And, I still use them like every day pretty much. So yeah, I think it depends where you are with your life as well. I guess if you've got time to spare and you just want to do it because it's fun and you also get exposure and, free products, then that's great. But if you're obviously in a tough spot when you're struggling to make money as a musician and that kind of thing, then of course it's not gonna be very nice if you have to make ads for free.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a slap in the face, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one because obviously also if you like the companies, and that's even more like weird to think about because I think like companies like GGD and all these ones make really cool stuff. So it's a weird and like I did a giveaway of the archetype Rabea when I put Rabea's podcast out. So like they were really about that. There was no like I didn't have to like negotiate anything with them. They're like, yeah, just like gave me a few licenses, which was really cool. So there is the flip side where it's like some of these companies actually they're quite happy to help, I think. So it's a weird one, the kind of the online world. But there was one other thing relating to going back to like kind of the keys thing. I suppose the keys thing. That's like it's like me saying going back to the guitar thing. Can you see keys making their way, or like synth kind of sounds making their way into more like generic metal? And the reason I ask that is if you go back like quite a while to more like classic rock and metal like Deep Purple, the keys were like at the forefront with everything else. But they seem to have like fallen out of favor with more like generic kind of genres of rock and metal, particularly metal. You hear keys in like prog and stuff like that, and you hear them in more like mainstream metal, but not as like a primary instrument. You hear them as like a kind of a layer somewhere, or like a
definitely.
Or maybe there might be a keys part, but it's not like the band won't have a keys player. Can you see it coming back into mainstream metal, or do you think it's kind of like found its place in more like niche?
Like the thing is with like metal and things like that, I think because the music is simpler compared to prog, people just program the keys, and that's kind of good enough for the genre, to be honest. Like you don't need a keys player to pull off and to play these complex parts because you want the realism or something. You can just program those layers in, like you said, or I don't know, like I guess key solos can be kind of badass if you do them right. So one of the songs that I'm working on right now is kind of a bit more, I guess, generic. Not as proggy, let's just say. Not generic, but just being humble. But yeah, it has like a keyboard solo, which I think it would suit like most kind of metal kind of vibes. So I guess, I mean, if it's the right person, and if they're doing good stuff, then I think like people could catch on to that and do something with it, like keys in mainstream, or you say mainstream or just metal in general?
Yeah, more like mainstream metal, because obviously you hear it in prog metal, you hear it in like obviously Dream Theater is kind of the your number one for that, really, like, as far as I'm aware. But And like weirdly, I've been hearing a bit more like things like saxophone and all sorts, in which you really don't associate with metal immediately,
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
find its place kind of, and people are more keen now to. I spoke to Simon Dobson, who do you know him?
The name rings a bell. I don't remember though.
He did the orchestral arrangements for like Alter Bridge, Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh, cool.
Architects' latest live, they did their orchestral live thing.
Yeah.
And Bleed From Within's latest album's got his stuff on it. So like obviously people are there's a calling for more classical sounds, I think, in metal. Obviously some of the key sounds that you get are pretty out there compared to like a standard like grand piano or something. But so I got like a kind of a two-parter. So one is, what do you feel you've learned from playing keys in an environment where most of what you hear is like guitar driven or sort of, in that kind of space? But then on the flip side, what do you think guitarists and more like basically guitars, drums and bass players in metal, what do you think they could maybe learn from keys that they maybe could benefit from? There's two parts.
Yeah, so I think a lot of like clean guitar parts kind of resemble piano to me sometimes, and that kind of vibe. But for the most part, like for me, it's been really beneficial just like learning from guitarists, to be honest. I think like because there are just so many more solo guitarists than there are solo keyboardists, then like listening to like Pliny and David, Max and Michich and artists like those like really helped kind of develop my songwriting skills on keys, and also like how I make solos and things like that. So yeah, I think I've definitely benefited a lot from guitarists. And I guess with keys, people are always including some kind of unison patch, like unison passage with like a guitar, for example. So I think like synth and things like that, I think there can be some really cool like I guess sequence things that people use, like intervals and like artists like those. So yeah, I think there's a fair bit of I guess piano inspired and synth inspired lines, in my opinion, in some of the proggy things, proggy music.
Do you think what do you think they could maybe like, if you had to sit down with like your average metal / prog metal guitarist, what do you think would be your like advice as a keys player if they just played the first prog rock metal riff that comes to your head? If you can think of the most generic kind of whatever it would be, what would your advice be to a guitarist who wants to be a bit more interesting?
I don't know, like, because I think with like riffs and things, I mean they're like 99% of them are done on a guitar anyway. So in my opinion, I think there's not much to take in that aspect. Like I think it's mostly like in a more creative way, like there's things to take from piano and synths and things like that. But in riffs and things, I think guitars always kind of have an edge, because there's just a lot of things you can do on guitar that you can't do on keys at the moment, riff wise, like all kinds of like crazy like open string things and like gent and stuff like that. So yeah, you can't really gent that much on keys just yet.
Yeah, I think the only thing I feel with keys that I would like to be able to hear more of, even if you go for a harsher sound, is you don't quite always get that transient of the pick hitting the string.
Yeah,
which
exactly. Yeah,
is that dynamic is quite important. Obviously, in a stomp, you want that like the cut from the, you need that attack in a riff, don't you? So, do you feel like there's anything, maybe even just on a songwriting perspective, anything melodically or like harmonically that you feel you hear a bit too much, or that that maybe I think we need a bit more or a bit less of, we need a bit more, I don't know, interesting harmony or a bit less generic melody? Is there anything that you feel like you hear that you'd, as a keys player, that when you hear guitarists do it, you think, man, that could have been more interesting?
I mean, I personally think that, like, the Phrygian dominant or Phrygian scale is like really, really overdone in metal in general. I mean, it sounds sick, like it sounds brutal, but yeah, that's you definitely have to be very creative with the riff to pull it off. For me to like it, because just simpler stuff within that scale is just like, people have been doing it for way too long.
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean. Yeah. I think there's like I'm trying to think of I can think of one riff in particular that I've written that is Phrygian dominant, but I'll play you it. I'll see what you think afterwards. But yeah. I don't think I've written too many. I've written riffs that are technically probably in Phrygian dominant, but they don't maybe lean on it as much. So I don't know whether they would quite qualify, if you know what I mean. Like they are, but yeah. So
yeah, you can do it in a more discreet way, like with any scale, like using it, like you can do it in a more discreet way where it's not like just the most obviously like basic sound.
1-4-1-0 on yeah. You play much guitar?
Exactly. No, I don't know how to play any. I mean, maybe just a few chords.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know how much sort of crossover. Whether you do you have any other instruments that you can play, like sort of that you're kind of capable of playing to a decent level, or is it do you just stick with keys? I mean,
no, just keys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm basically just guitar. I can sing okay, like
Yeah.
So
nice.
Do you what? And the other thing to ask actually was obviously a lot of what people see online about you is you're playing. What kind of things do you have? Things outside of music, or are there things about you that maybe people don't see that you would want, that you'd like the opportunity to share? Because I mean, this is a good place to do it, because obviously now pressure here to fight with them or anything.
I mean, like, I really like playing video games.
Nice.
And I never post about that, like, ever. I've never posted anything about that. I like video games, just like racing sims and things. I think that's kind of common in like the prog community. I know the guys in Periphery play racing sims quite a bit, at least Misha. But yeah, and also, sorry,
I was just saying, challenge them, get a.
No, I think you'd beat me. He's got a way better setup. No, but yeah, I like sim racing and just all kinds of games, really. So I like that, and just working out, doing things outdoors as well. So yeah, when music is not taking up too much time, then that's what I like to do.
Yeah, I feel like there's quite a connection between gaming and music. I don't know if it's that kind of problem solving. I don't quite know what it is.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's one where like I was gonna I kind of always tempted, by like a PS5 or something like that. I mean, A, they're really expensive, but but B, I feel like I played it I sort of played PS4 as a teenager, and then I'm like, I don't have that craving to play video games. That doesn't sort of exist in me at the moment. So I'm like, why make that for no, like, I don't want to make that craving. I've got enough things trying to distract me as it is. So
yeah,
I try and I'm trying to avoid video games. Not that I don't think they're inherently bad, but there's so many addictive things about nowadays that.
Yeah, of course.
Like, yeah. And it's one of those things where you can. Do you ever? I don't know what your take is on this, but like, obviously, video games in particular are so exciting and they're so in your face. Like, they can really take you to another kind of world. That's kind of what they try and do. Do you worry that maybe like that just massive kind of overstimulation you get from video games could detract from when you then go and sit down and do some music that actually it's not gonna give you that payoff straight away?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like, obviously when you're playing video games, then it is like, pretty exciting. and not all parts of music is like that. So yeah, in a way, yeah, that could happen. But I mean, I usually only play like to relax, or just, I don't really like, I'm not really into like shooter games or anything that I'm staying up like, past 2 a.m. to play or anything. So I just like play like maybe a couple hours a day, maybe maximum. So yeah, but so as long as that's in, like, you're not too addicted to them, I think a bit of a balance is good.
Yeah, I really want a man cave, like like a studio that's also like, I can just have like a big TV in there and a sofa.
Nice.
Proper.
Yeah.
Do you guys, because I know in the US they say couch, do you guys say sofa or couch?
I think mostly sofa.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you guys would say couch. I feel like couch is I don't know. It's just
sofa. I think we're pretty similar to like British people in terms of like,
use us all the time, don't they?
Sorry?
Americans confuse British and Australian folks all the time.
I reckon. Yeah.
What?
No, it doesn't. It sounds like the equivalent of the Southern accent, like Australian is Southern British accent, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I know. It's that kind of. I think Australian and British accents, or at least a strong Australian accent, is like as different as a British and an American accent. To me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so absolutely.
Do you watch The Boys?
The Boys? No, I don't.
Oh, that's so good. It's on Amazon. Yeah? It's like a little advert for.
It's like a superhero thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and the it's basically. It's like superheroes, but all the superheroes are just the worst people in the world. So the boys are like the ones chasing after them, But like the superheroes are, it's lots of metaphors for society. The superheroes are like adored by the public, but no one knows all the shady shit they get up to and like drugs and killing people.
That's cool. I mean, cool story.
Oh, it is. It's really good. Yeah, and some of the scenes, some of the like action scenes are great. But the reason I brought it up is one of the main characters. I think he's an American guy, but he's playing a British character who I thought for quite a while was meant to be Australian until he started saying really British phrases. And I'm like, what? Is he meant to be English? It's not the best accent. He's a really cool character. He's never played well. But yeah, it's a tricky kind of situation trying to balance that like video game. Are you good at finding like the work-life balance, if you like, or the music-life balance, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, I reckon, like, I mean, I just find like doing music, because it's just like so many things you can do in it, that I kind of get a bit carried away with sometimes, like I obviously always I'm doing some music stuff on the weekend. It's not like I'm like, leaving weekends only for friends and family. Like I'm doing music on like just like any other day. But I think there's just so much to it. Like, you can do like for example, today, like I did a guest solo and started working on like a soundtrack for an animated film. So it's like you can do a bunch of different things, and it's just like, stimulating you in different ways. So I don't know. It's just like it's fun for me as well. It's work, and so I guess I do struggle with that, because I find it fun, and I also love to like work and do those things. So yeah, that is a bit of a struggle for me to just like sit back and relax and just like chill out with my family or something like that. But yeah, I think I prioritize them enough, prioritize doing things other than music and things enough. So not a problem yet.
No, so we'll see. What's the next, like, obviously because you're a bit younger than me. I mean, I consider myself kind of young. I'm 25 next week. Next week? I mean, I know when my birthday is. I'm just looking at what the date is. In 10 days on Halloween. I'm a Halloween baby.
Nice.
Anyone that wants to commit identity fraud now knows one more thing about me, but I don't know why you would. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so obviously, yeah. So you say you're 20?
Yeah, I'm actually turning 21 in a month.
Okay.
In less than a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got similar. Any big plans for 21?
Nah.
No.
No, mate, just chilling out at home. It's not special. It's not special after 18. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I feel like 18 and 21 are the cool birthdays, and I think you have to wait till like 30. I don't think 20. I haven't got any exciting plans for 25, so sorry, disappoint you there. But
Yeah.
my question was like, where do you see yourself, and like what? Not maybe where do you see yourself, but what do you think? We're talking about younger, looking back on younger you, kind of that sort of conversation. What do you think? In 10 years' time, where do you think you'd like to see yourself, like in terms of your music career? What would be the ideal, like a sort of realistic, like ideal situation for you?
Well, I definitely want to like have a bit more of like a following as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the next 10 years, I definitely want to do like at least an Australian tour headlining.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's kind of doable, kind of achievable. We just need some bangers. Just need some bangers in the next couple of years, and we'll be on the way. But besides that, just want to have like a nice, well-rounded discography. It's, just expressing everything I want to. Whether it's just like really heavy stuff or more chill piano things. Because I think I've kind of like tried to demonstrate that in the last couple of releases, but I definitely want to like broaden it and express all kinds of things. So I think those two things are the main ones that I'd really like to achieve in the next 10 years.
Yeah, they're good goals, and the good thing is they're kind of more. They're not like. I guess they're kind of, one of them's kind of a bit more of a material goal, but it's not like a materialistic thing. The idea of on tour, like it's like a tangible thing, but it's not a it's not like money or anything like that. It's more about your own sort of development, which is quite a cool. I think that sets you up better than if you wanted to be rich and famous kind of thing. Although I guess that kind of part of that comes with the territory of your particularly brilliant, or just appeal to the right people. I don't know if rich and famous exists in the prog world. John Petrucci is probably the richest, most famous person. I don't know how, compared to everyone else, I don't know if he's, maybe he's pretty loaded, to be fair. I don't know. But,
yeah. Wrong genre for that.
I wouldn't go into prog for the money. So I don't know. I mean, I wonder who the richest prog musician. Actually, I think I know who. I'm not going to say, but I think I know.
Who is it? Tell us. Go on. No,
it's in like just from, if you just look at his Instagram, it's like just there's lots of expensive shit on there. I'm like,
I know
that guy makes a lot of money. I don't know if it's all from prog music or not. I doubt it.
It's drugs, mate.
Probably. No, I guess there are probably a few, but yeah. Anyway, on that amazingly introspective and thought-provoking note of who makes money selling drugs in the music industry, cool. So I think we covered quite a lot of cool stuff. It's interesting to get an insight into you. Like we're saying, a lot of what I've seen of you so far is your actual playing. So it's nice to be able to like chat to you, sort of behind that, not behind the scenes, but like get that insight from you as well. So
it's like one of the first interviews I've ever had, or interviews, podcast things, whatever you want to call it.
No, it's been good, man. Yeah, and I'm glad that you hopefully got a chance to like just talk about stuff maybe a bit beyond just like what people see on the Instagram world. So
absolutely.
Nice. Okay, so I need a question to start the next podcast. Do you sell drugs?
Yes, that is my question.
Yes. And then an artist that you think deserves some love.
Okay. All right, I'll go with the artist first. Mm-hmm. I reckon I've been listening to one song by them, and that's the only song I've heard, but I really like it.
Yeah.
So they're called Beagle. They're a Swedish band that actually isn't active anymore. Is that allowed, or does it have to be someone right now? Okay, sick. Yeah, so it's called Beagle. It's a Swedish band, and I reckon they're pretty sick, but are very underrated.
Beagle, as in the dog Beagle.
Yeah.
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 Okay, cool. That's good.
And not prog at all, and not metal at all. And yeah,
Yeah, you
I
broke
think
the
they're
rules.
pretty good. Not allowed.
Yeah. So we need a question. Need a question now. For the next one.
All right. If you could be as influential as any person, who would it be? Who would that person be?
So if you could have, that's an interesting one. Yeah. Like, because
And not as rich necessarily, but just like influential, you know?
yeah, that's an interesting one. I've never thought about something like that. Yeah, because do you pick? Because you could go all conspiracy theory about it as well. You could be like, oh, you could pick like the, people behind the scenes, be like an FBI person or something like that. I bet they got influence. Or do you pick someone crazy like Donald Trump or someone, or some real damage? Yeah, that's a good question. I like that one. Yeah, nice, cool. Well, if you have anything you want to plug and sort of promote to the world, then feel free. Oh.
No, I mean, no, don't really have much to say, to be honest. It's like I'm so done. I went for a long walk today. I'm just like relaxing. Just had a good chat with old mate Joe. So
nice.
Yeah.
Check out you.
Yes, check out me. Yeah, and I will tease that I do have a new song that I'm gonna be releasing probably January.
Okay, cool.
And
well, this will be out like end of November, so
perfect.
So that's probably about the right-ish sort of time, I guess.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's gonna be called Moth Dust.
Oh, interesting. That's good because there's a lot of people that use the like moth to the flame analogy. So moth dust is a bit more of an interesting.
Oh, it's a weird one, mate. It's a weird reason why I came up with that.
Something's to do with drugs.
No, it was about like, because you know the myth that like moth dust, if you get it into your eyes, then you go blind.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, well maybe it's not. Maybe it's just something I made up as a kid or something. But it's just something that I had been led to believe for like years, right? And then my girlfriend debunked that hard, and I cried that day.
Oh wow.
No, I'm just joking, but yeah, no, it's just a funny thing that I just believed like a naive little kid.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Were you not just terrified of moths whenever they flew around you?
I mean, kinda, but like I thought you might like had to have it on your
like
hands or something
into your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
What? How
I didn't think it would just fall
on
on you. I have no idea, man.
That is a weird one.
I have no idea.
I'm trying to think if I believed anything like that. Nothing comes to mind. I was a smart kid. Yeah, nice. Well, we'll leave it at that. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me, Joe.